Hello everyone. There were berg winds along the south coast of the country once again on Wednesday, where temperatures rose into the high 20s, but it stayed cold in the northeast, including over Gauteng and Mpumalanga, and it was a very cloudy afternoon across Limpopo. Out in the Atlantic Ocean, the big low pressure and cold front are still approaching from the west, and although the core of this low is going to slip to the south of the country, it's certainly going to have a sting in its tail. Although the day starts off dry across South Africa with a bit of morning cloud in the northeast, but things will change as the cold front makes landfall and heavier rain is going to settle in around the peninsula by mid-morning, and that rain is going to be pushing inland as the front moves through, as well as up the western coastline. Very windy weather expected across the Cape provinces with gale force winds in places. Taking a look at your wind forecast, we see that they're going to average between 40 and 60 kilometers per hour for parts of the Karoo. Similar wind speeds closer to the south coast, Cape Town as well as Vredendal, getting about 50 kilometers per hour at times. There are 3 warnings in place with the approaching cold front. The first is for gale force winds for some areas in the northern and western Cape interior, as well as towards the coastline between Cape Columbine and Cape Agulhas. A high fire danger warning also in place for parts of the Cape provinces due to the gusty conditions, high temperatures as well as low humidity. Runaway fires will be possible. And finally, there's a heavy rain warning in place that could lead to localized flooding for the West Coast districts, the Cape Metropole as well as the Cape Winelands municipality. Let's take a look at that detailed forecast, and while it will be mostly dry to start off the day in the Northern Cape, it becomes very windy for all areas, and later on rain will settle in between Alexander Bay and Sutherland. Wet weather is going to be around already in the morning around the peninsula and further inland. Heavy rain likely for some places, and that rain continues to spread eastwards. But it stays dry along the coastline between Mossel Bay and Plet, warm at first in particular, with temperatures around the 20-degree mark because of those berg winds. And we're going to see another hot day toward the coastal areas of the Eastern Cape. It's going to stay sunny over this province, but as we've seen, windy weather possible for some places. A mostly dry with sunny day conditions expected for KwaZulu-Natal. Winds definitely not as strong in this province, but it will be gusty for Newcastle. And it's going to be another cold afternoon on the Mpumalanga Highveld with sunshine coming through all across this area. Some morning cloud in the forecast over Limpopo, perhaps even fog, but sunnier conditions expected for your Thursday, and along with that it will be a little bit warmer. A slight temperature increase for the northwest, Mahikeng managing to climb to 23. And after another frosty morning in the Free State, we'll see some areas climbing into the lower 20s. But for Bethlehem, it's going to stay quite cold, and it's going to be a very gusty day around Harrismith. And finally, for Gauteng, Johannesburg and Soweto staying below the 20-degree mark. Pretoria starting off at a chilly 6 degrees, but getting to 20. On Friday, the colder air will push into the central parts, including around Bloemfontein, very cold in the west with more rain expected. And on Saturday, cooler air reaches KZN. Richards Bay could have a few drops, and there's a likelihood of a few showers along the south coast. That's all from me. Goodbye for now.